Hello everyone, today I'm going to be showing you my link indexing plugin that I just released. I'm going to cover some of the functions, the commands. I'm going to cover things the plugin does, the errors that you could possibly receive, what a good response will look like, things like that. But before we begin, I just want to mention one quick thing. If you do pick up the plugin and you just want to play with it without purchasing all of the services, Linkcentaur here has a free plan that does allow API access. You can upload 50 links a day, so that's something to keep in mind. So if you just want to play with the plugin but you don't want to start buying all these different subscriptions, I totally understand. I don't expect you to have all the subscriptions in order to use the plugin. But that's one way that you can start using it for free to verify basically everything I'm saying, that you're going to be seeing certain responses. All right, so that's something I want to get out of the way. Okay, now here's the plugin. It looks like this by Hello Insomnia, and here are the link indexing functions and the link indexing commands. So right now we have Elite Link Indexer, Indexification, Lindext, Linkcentaur, Linklicious, and 1 hour indexing. Those are the 6 current platforms that the plugin supports and this is like the day after launch, so hopefully in the future we'll have more. We have most of the plugin as functions, and we have Linklicious and 1 hour index as commands, and I'll go over that in a minute. But for now, let's just jump right into the functions and what you can kind of expect. One more thing I want to mention is there will be a video below this that goes over the 2 example files that are going to come with the plugin, but I wanted to show the plugin in its simplest form, because those videos cover more about the example files. Although they talk about the plugin as well, I want to just demonstrate the plugin itself here. So I'm just gonna ping Elite Link Indexer and we'll see what a good response looks like. That's not a good response, obviously, so I'll just leave that up there. We're gonna hit run. So for the functions, for the Elite Link Indexer, Indexification, Lindext, and Linkcentaur functions, when you call out to the services and get a response, you're going to get back an OK. And this means that everything's good. So that's the only thing you need to look for, is just this capitalized OK. Now, I've built in validation to the plugin to verify that everything is filled in, that say you have URLs, that the drip feed is a number, various forms of validation like that. So anytime you get a validation error, it's going to look like this. You're going to see the capitalized ERROR, and then there's going to be a generalized error. So for all of them, if you don't have an API key, it's always going to say no API key. Whereas if you have an invalid API key, they may all differ a little bit, because what I'm doing here is we're sending the request and then I'm passing along the error that they sent back. And so that could be anything. I did this because I wanted it to be more future-proof this way. There may be more errors that they add in the future. And so for that reason, one might say invalid API key, another one might say something like no user found with that ID or something like that. But the point is there's always going to be error. So all you have to do is look for this error, and you can pass along to your users what the error was. But if you want to use the plugin, even if you don't have the services, you can test for the validation errors by by doing things like not having a campaign name there, and it's going to tell you no campaign. That's a validation error because it's not filled in. If you try to put like a Z for the days, obviously that's not a number, and so it's going to let you know. Or if you don't have URLs, then we need to put a valid number here, then it will tell you. So you can still kind of play around with it and test it, even if you don't have the service. What you'll see when you do send a good request out, like this is obviously gonna fail, but it will send out the request because it passes the validation checks, is something like that invalid API key. So that's how you know that it was sent out. That, or you can pull up something like Fiddler. So I'm just going to go over a couple of the functions and a couple of the commands. So this is the link indexer. We've kind of already seen this. Let's pick a different one. I'm going to go with Link Centaur because, again, these guys have that free tier. So you can just go ahead and grab a free account there and do this exact same thing, basically. So let's search for the Link Centaur API key. For my campaign name, I'm going to can actually pull up my account here. All right, so I'm going to put well, first of all, let's just drag over so you guys can see. This was the latest campaigns I have was, you know, plugin test. So let's say new video plugin test. All right, so here's one of the options we have on Link Centaur. We can drip feed. We have 3 options for drip feeding. We can just disable it, which means that it's going to send all the links through the service immediately. We can choose the number of days, and here's where we put the number. You may not be able to see this menu on the video. I don't know if my video capture software picks it up, but there is a drop down here, and when I click it, it says disabled. As you can see, you can choose that. You can choose number of days, and you can choose links per day. And if you decide that you want to put something random in here, it will default back to the disabled, just so you know. Again, there's a little drop down. I chose my URL list. We're just going to disable drip feeding, and we're going to try and index these 1 through 10.com URLs. And let's change this to be Link Centaur. And hit run. And it says it's okay. And we can pull up our dashboard here, and our daily usage jumped up to 10. Here's our new campaign, new video plugin test, like we said it here. So we can kind of see that it's working in our 1 through 10.com there. All right, so there are, you know, a couple more. There's the link indexer, indexification, Lindext, and Link Centaur. They're all going to look pretty similar to this. It's a function that's going to return like an OK or something like that. Now let's talk about Linklicious and 1 hour indexing, because these are a little bit different. As you can see, there's a lot more stuff going on here. And so let's just go ahead and set this up one by one. We have our API key. We have our app ID. Now what this means is you can register as a developer with Linklicious, and everything I say goes for 1 hour indexing as well, guys. So they're the same. Everything's the same. They're owned by the same people and everything. So just keep that in mind. So app ID is going to be like your own app, like developer API key thing. So mine's in here already. You don't have to ever fill this out unless, I don't know why mine would ever get banned, but if for some reason mine gets banned, you can override mine right here. And that's why I added this in, is so that you can either add your own for your own personal reasons, of course, or alternatively, if mine ever gets banned, you can override it right here. Links per day, this is a drip feeding option. 0 pings all now. So if you don't want to drip feed, then do that, you know, or you may want to put on like, I don't know, like a 14-day drip. There's something called a batch ID and a batch name. If you're uploading links for the first time, or if you always want to open a new campaign, then you would always use batch name. However, if you want to add links to a previous campaign, you will need to know the batch ID, but not the batch name. So while, let me pull up Linklicious here. While I have this, batch that I created for like the one of the tests yesterday for the video, the batch is named DS, but if I wanted to add links to that, I would need the batch ID, which I believe is this. So for the purpose of this video, the first time we're just going to create a new name. Let's say new plugin video test. I'm going to select my URLs. The way that Linklicious as well as 1 Hour Indexing work is they will return some information in a table. So let's call this Linklicious, and let's go ahead and clear this table, and I'll show you what this looks like. I think everything's working, so let's just hit run. And here is the table that you're going to see. Again, this is both Linklicious as well as 1 Hour Indexing. This is what happens. This is the result you're going to see when a call was made. I'll show you what a validation error looks like in a minute, but for now, you will have an error, which there was no error, an error message. Since there was no error, there's no error message. Links added. We added 10 links, and links rejected, 0, and the batch ID. The reason that this is a table is because I wanted to provide more information, because these APIs give us more information, and I wanted to be sure that you were able to get this batch ID as well. Alternatively, I may make a function for these as well in the future, which just returns the batch ID. If you guys want that as a feature, let me know. If you don't want this table because it's too much or something, that's no problem to do. But for now, this is how I'm doing it. So this is what it looks like when you get back a good response, and that way you can store this batch ID, and we can actually take a look at Linklicious again. Look at our batches. Here's our new plugin video test with our 10 URLs, and then maybe we want to add a new one, and we want to get this batch ID here. Let's see if I can copy this out. No, I can't copy it. So let's set batch ID table cell Linklicious row 4 column 2. See if that does it. Oh, column 1. Okay, here's our batch ID. Let's go ahead and we can leave that because it's going to clear the table after. Then we can remove this batch name and instead add the batch ID. When you do it this way, it should add to this current campaign. But we will see I don't know if it's going to reject these URLs or not because they're already in the campaign. I guess we'll find out. It does add them, it looks like. And our link count is 21. So it does not check for duplicates. That's something to keep in mind. But that's a quick demo as to how it works with 3 of the services. We also have a function called remaining limit for indexification, for Linklicious, and for 1 Hour Indexing. Because Linklicious was just used, let's go ahead and put a stop script here, and let's go ahead and check our remaining limit for the day. Our API key. And again, app ID you'll probably never have to use, but it's there in case you need it. So we'll just ignore that for now, and we will put link malicious remaining. Hit run, and this is going to give you remaining limit, or it's going to give you an error, which I actually did not show you the errors, so we'll go over that real quick. So if I put in a bad key, it may still work. Some of them seem to be pretty smart about appending things. We'll see. No, okay, that's good. So we can see in this case that is an error that you would see back if there was one. But let's talk about the validation errors real quick, because the table will be different. Let's just leave that up. If I have no API key, for example, instead of it being 5 rows, it will only be 1 row. And so you really only need to pick the first row in the first column, and this is all the information that you can return to your user. Okay, so that's the link indexing plugin. If you guys have any questions, let me know. And also there is a video right below this one which is showing you the 2 example files that come with it. Thanks for watching.